welcome to everyone. Thanks for joining this event, which is to mark the publication of the English version of Socialist Economic Development in the 21st Century by Elias Jabbour and Alberto Gabriele. The event is being jointly put on by the International Marxist Group and Friends of Socialist China. And let me, first of all, on behalf of both groups, extend congratulations to Elias and Alberto for this book. For us, you know, it's a very important book, coming as it does from the perspective that we all share, namely that a century since the first socialist revolution broke the global monopoly of capitalism, socialist economic construction continues to offer the most viable alternative to the globalized capitalist crisis. And of course, before our eyes, the multiple crises facing the world are deepening. The system of moribund capitalism, riven by contradictions, is listing ever further into the doldrums. Yet precisely when they are so needed, the progressive forces in the world remain fragmented and confused about what a socialist alternative might be. Even where leftist forces have come together, in Chile, for example, and hopefully France, their basis of unity needs to be consolidated on socialist ground. Now, in my view, confusion over socialism is very much to do with the carryover of debates from the 20th century. Well-worn ground over state and class, plan versus market, divorced from the lived experience of socialism, have become ossified. And none more so than in the case of debates about whether or not China is capitalist or socialist. Yet, understanding the nature of China's social system could not now be more important as the Western warlords launch their moral crusade to divide the world between so-called democracies and so-called autocracies, so as to isolate China along with Russia, bringing us to the point of most extreme danger, the threat of nuclear war. China, which sees itself as the primary stage of socialism, presents us, of course, with a contradictory picture. The continuing expansion of markets, extensive privatization, the growth of the private sector, and the emergence of some giant corporations, opening to foreign investment, stock markets, corruption, environmental damage, poor working conditions, increasing inequality. But at the same time, absolute poverty has been eradicated, the welfare of the people has improved, the working class has grown exponentially, and the amount and quality of assets in state hands has grown hugely, with the state becoming a vastly more effective operator. So these contradictions really challenge our understanding of socialism. A mechanistic plan versus market approach, in fact, fails to grasp the dialectics between plan and state, as demonstrated in Chinese experience, where the market enhances the state and the state guides and shapes the market. It is not that the state simply sits atop a system of public ownership, gripping hold of the means of production. It is, in fact, a dynamic actor balancing multiple policy levers, now creating disruption to push forward development, now seeking to restore stability. The dynamic approach of Chinese socialism is rooted in Mao's 1956 work on the 10 major relationships: agriculture and industry, light and heavy industry, the state and producers, China and the external world, and so on. These are envisaged as contradictions constantly shifting between balance and imbalance, proportion and disproportion. And it is through this dialectical and materialist approach that the CPC is able to take a long-term view, planning ahead for 2025, 2030, 2049, identifying stages, setting priorities, sequencing, all whilst retaining flexibility to grasp opportunities and meet challenges. To turn to Jabbour and Gabriele's book, it's divided into two parts. One considering essential concepts from Marxism, such as mode of production, law of value, productive and unproductive labor. And from this generates a series of laws of social development. And the second part, drawing on these concepts and laws, and with reference also to development literature, it looks at the cases of China, Vietnam, and Laos, all following a path of market reform from a similar base of Soviet centralized planning, though under different national conditions. In what ways then do Jabor and Gabriele open up new approaches to the key questions and debates before us? How to think about socialism in the 21st century, how to consider the legacy of the Soviet experience, how to characterize Chinese socialism and its direction, and how is it possible for socialism to advance under the constraints of world capitalism? How come China has managed to limit dependency on internal finance? And how is it possible, after all, for socialism and capitalism to coexist within a nation and indeed the world? And what difference can and is a socialist China with its growing world influence making for those around the world pursuing a socialist orientation? So to discuss this book and to no doubt raise their own perspectives, we have a distinguished panel of Marxist political economists, and I look forward to a stimulating debate.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.